In today's video, we're going to walk you through how to set up and track phone call conversion tracking if you're running a call only campaign inside Google Ads. So if you're running a service-based company and you want to be getting phone call leads more than any other type of lead, then I'd highly recommend running a call only campaign, especially if you're running a service where it makes most sense for the customer to call directly straight away because they need to get that job done now, as opposed to something where they're thinking about it and they want to just shop around for a quote. Like if it's something that it makes sense for them to call you directly straight away, then I would always recommend setting up a call only campaign for that. So, and you're going to be tracking phone calls, and we need to make sure that those phone calls are being tracked accurately. So I'm going to walk you through how to do that in this video. And to do so, we first have to come over here to conversions. So over here on the left hand side to goals, and then we'll choose conversions then and summary to bring us to the conversion summary table where we can add a new conversion action. And then you'll see here the option where you can just create a new conversion action. And because we're going to be tracking phone calls, we obviously choose phone calls in this case. And we're going to be tracking calls from ads using call extensions or call only ads, as we're running a call only campaign in this case. Now, when you're naming the conversion action, I usually like to stick to something that is relevant to the type of campaign that we're running so we know exactly what we're tracking. So I usually call it something like call from call only ad. I'll put in for video in this case. Now, I mentioned it already in the last video, but for value, I like to choose don't use a value for this conversion action, because when we're tracking leads as opposed to sales, we really don't want to be adding different values for different types of leads, because a phone call is a phone call at the end of the day. And we want to treat all of each phone call that we get equally. And also for count as well, if the same customer is calling you multiple times, we don't want those to count as separate leads, sorry, because it's the same person calling about the same job. And every would only make sense if you know you are tracking sales of products, because each time somebody buys like another one of your products, then yeah, that would obviously make sense. But if the same person calls you more than once, I don't want to be counting that as multiple leads because it's only the one person that called. And for the call length, then I would go for 1 second, because anytime someone you answer the phone to someone, that'll count as a new conversion action, or a conversion, sorry. And obviously, even if a call only lasts like 1 second or 5 seconds, it's not a good phone call. But we just want to be giving as much conversion data as possible to Google, just to optimize your account in the least amount of time possible. And then for the click through conversion window, I like to keep this as 30 days, meaning that it has to be at least 30 days later for, if the same person calls you again, for them to count as a new lead. Whereas if the same person calls you within 30 days, then it won't be counted as a new conversion, which is basically what that means. And attribution, then I just keep as data driven, and we create and continue. So this is basically the same as setting up the call extension conversion action, which we went through in the last video. The main difference between the two is that the call extension conversion action was for regular search campaigns. So if you're running like normal search ads, but this one is for like when you're running call only campaigns on mobile phone only. So now you've set up your call conversion action. So you just press done then. And now to make sure that that conversion action is being tracked, we come back to your actual ads themselves. So come down to your ads, um, and if you already have these set up, you can just go into one of your ads, and down at the bottom of your actual ad, below the headlines and descriptions, you'll have your conversion action here. So basically, once you've set up the conversion action, as we just done, you'll see that the conversion action you set up will come up as an opt-in here, so you can choose the conversion action name that you just set up. Now I'm not going to save this because it's not the conversion action that we're already using for this client's campaign. But you get the idea. You just press then to save as new version. But one thing I would do is, because if you have a load of different ads made already, you don't want to have to manually add this conversion action after you've made all the ads. So what I would do is that when you first make the campaign and make your first ad, I would set up the conversion tracking then straight away. And then you can put that conversion action into the ad, and then start copying and pasting out your ads and ad groups, because you don't want to have to, if you have like 20 or 30 different ads. You don't want to have to add the conversion action manually to every single one. Um, so that's just something I'd also recommend doing just to save you a lot of time. Now, I hope you found this video useful. It's very similar to the previous video we made when it comes to setting up and tracking phone calls from your actual phone call extension, which you'd have in your regular search campaigns. And the process is more or less the same in this case for call only ads. But I'm also going to make a future video on how to set up and track phone call conversion tracking um, if you have a call button on your landing page, because there's quite a few more steps involved in setting that up, especially if you're using something like Google Tag Manager to set that up. But at least if you wanted to just set up a really basic campaign and not use any landing pages, and you only want them to call from the ad directly and not have to worry about landing page or website conversion tracking, this is something you can get started with really easily just to get a campaign up and running, especially if you're running a service that, phone calls make most sense to you as opposed to any other type of lead. And in that case, it's the easiest type of conversion action to set up. Now, if you'd like this Google Ads related content, feel free to subscribe to the channel as I'll be posting daily content on here. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one.